Excuse me. What in the world are you thinking?
Mean Gene, the first thing you need to do is to tell these people to shut up if you want to hear what I gotta say.
What up, y'all? KMB, the sexy ninja, in the place to be, as always, for the New World Podcast, brother. And we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw, May 1st. Woo! It's already May. We and it's crazy to sit here and think, like, WrestleMania was just weeks ago, and we're here now, and Backlash is this week, and this is the go-home show, and it being the go-home show, it also features the draft. Night 2. A lot of things happening, even stuff that's not even happening on the shows from SmackDown, like Zoe Starks got drafted from the NXT roster as well. They got some more picks going on as of right now, and it started off strong. They're in Fort Worth, Texas. Kevin Patrick, Corey Graves on the commentary, and shout out to Carmella. She's pregnant. Congratulations to you and Corey. That's awesome, man. Congratulations. And we start the show off strong and heavy with round 1. The first 4 picks of tonight for round 1 brought to you by Triple H. And to start it off, Raw's first pick, Rhea Ripley. Kind of saw that coming when Bianca got moved over to SmackDown. A lot of these picks were like, yeah, we kind of knew this. And like this next pick for SmackDown, Austin Theory taking the United States Championship with them to SmackDown. I was like, yeah, because Gunther came over with Imperium to here with the Intercontinental Championship, and these two titles can't be on the same show. So, I just feel, okay, let me get through these next 2 picks, okay? Raw got Seth Rollins. I kind of saw that coming. And SmackDown got Charlotte Flair, which I was like, okay, yeah, she's going to stay on SmackDown. Cool. But with these picks going on, I don't know if the draft was a necessary thing to happen this week. I know it's the same week as the NFL draft. Don't get me wrong. This was planned. They wanted to be in the headlines and news, WWE draft and everything like that. But with the pay-per-view on the horizon and this being a go-home show, and these picks go into effect after Backlash, kind of makes those matches on Backlash a little bit predictable, right? Am I right? Like, am I going to see Io Sky beat Bianca Belair for that Raw Women's Championship to keep the Raw Women's Championship here? Maybe. Probably not. Then her and Rhea are going to swap belts. Are we going to see Bronson Reed beat Austin Theory for that United States Championship with Bobby Lashley in that triple threat? And Bronson Reed, yeah, I don't know. Tell me what you think of it. Like, with the draft like this, I feel like the draft should happen after a pay-per-view. Like, maybe they should have done this after Backlash. Like, hey, after Backlash, all the tables are turning. We're doing the big draft on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown this week, and then going forward from there, we can start making these new storylines. I don't know. It just makes me look at the pay-per-view and be like, well, I guess, now it just seems a little predictable at this point who's going to win what. And not a Damian Priest or a Bad Bunny. I'm just talking about, like, when it comes to staples of each section now. And they announced that Brock Lesnar is a free agent, and he worked it in his contract to be a free agent. So there's that, So Brock Lesnar can show up anywhere and everywhere he wants to, no matter what. But the first 4 picks of this draft, Raw Rhea Ripley, SmackDown Austin Theory, Raw Seth Rollins, SmackDown Charlotte Flair. And, there were some, moments of this draft, especially for night 2 and night 1. I was like, Bobby Lashley was a big one for me. And for night 2, some of these were like, okay. Woo, So let's just keep the ball rolling. Got Paul Heyman, Triple H brings him out. Paul Heyman goes out, cuts a promo. It talks about a Joker. a certain someone, a freaking someone, and it is the one and only Seth freaking Rollins, who comes out and we're singing his song. Oh, and Paul's like, hold on. My favorite part's when Seth started talking, and then Paul was like, hold on. He gets on the phone. He's like, what? He gets on the phone with Roman, and Seth's like, hold on. Let's sing my song. And he's like, I'm trying to talk here, Paul screaming at the crowd. But he's like, you have pissed off your tribal chief. And Seth Rollins is like, wasn't having it. He's like, hey, guess what? Doesn't matter. Because how long will it take when I put your head into this mat? And of course, the enforcer comes out. Solo Sikoa comes out, and he protects Paul, but it sets up a match at the end of the show, the big main event match between these two. We had Cody backstage. He's walking, and Adam Pearce is like, hey, man, you need to keep the peace in some shape or form tonight. I can't have chaos and whatnot. And Cody just smiles and walks off. I was like, teasing that moment of like, all right, Cody, what do you got planned? What do you got in the tank for tonight for Brock Lesnar? Okay. First match of the night, Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Damage Control, Bayley and Dakota Kai. Damage Control for the win. I was very surprised by this. I was picking Liv and Raquel for the win just because I was like, they're the tag team champs, but eventually a champ needs to lose to set somebody up to go against Liv and Raquel. And, with the choices going on here, Liv and Raquel are going to stay here on Raw, then Damage Control is going over to SmackDown, so them getting the win doesn't matter. So that's why the draft happening right now is like, oh, yeah, okay. But we got Lesnar backstage, Cowboy Lesnar, if you will, is backstage, and he's Adam Pearce is like, hey, man, he's like, hey, man, it's just, can we try to keep the peace? And he's just like, yeah, good luck with that. He just walks on by. Now we got Queen Sharmell and Booker T for round 2. They announced the next round of picks. Raw gets Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. The tag team titles will stay here on Raw. SmackDown, surprise, the Usos are going to be there, so the bloodline's still intact for now. Raw gets Judgment Day, surprise, just because, Rhea Ripley's on Raw now too, so we can't split up the Judgment Day. So it's kind of weird when they're like, there was no breakups of any sorts of any of the teams. There was no breakups like, oh crap, because I was afraid. I'll get to it when I get to it, okay? But then LWO gets drafted to SmackDown, and building on that to where I'm like, okay, well now we're getting away from Dominic and Damian, and Ray and Dominic, which is a good thing. Like I said, new stories, and we're moving on and moving forward, and that's what the draft is, to shake things up. But I just feel like, I don't know, with the pay-per-view on the horizon, I'm probably repeating myself over and over again. I'm sorry, folks, but it's just one of those things where it's like, there's a big pay-per-view, and, all these matches, the drafts happen, and it all goes into effect Monday, into Friday SmackDown, and it's just odd. It's just odd to me, okay? Okay, I'll drop it. Fine. God. Ricochet and Braun Strowman versus Alpha Academy with Maxine. Ricochet, Braun Strowman for the win. Soon to be competitors for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships, in my opinion, just because they've been winning. And oh my God, Chad Gable, the Matt Master, the mathematician, and Otis. I love Alpha Academy. I think the world of this team, and I want them to get back into the hunt, for tag team gold. Then up next, we have Shawn Michaels and Adam Pearce for round 3. Here we go. And dun, 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 dun. Brock Lesnar interrupts, comes out, and he's about to cut a promo, and he says, I'm the realest cowboy here. I feel like he was trying to get some heat on that one. It was just an odd, in Texas, because he says, "Hey, Texas, I'm the realest cowboy you're looking at here." And I was like, huh, are you trying to make them boo you? Because they didn't boo you when you came out. They're like, ooh, Brock. But Adam Pearce, because he got interrupted with him and Shawn Michaels, he goes to Brock. He's like, "Hey, man, not tonight. The draft over everything. No more. You guys got your match this Saturday, blah, 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 blah." And he brings out security guards. He brings out a shit ton of security guards for Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar's like, "Come on," but guess what? Cody Rhodes comes out from the back, gets a nice shot to Brock, even left a little cut and mark on his nose. And I was like, oh, shit, it's about to happen. They're going to hold him back. No, we make Cody look strong again. We make Cody look strong, and Brock walk it away. And we got a rowdy Cody here. He's chomping at the bit. He wants Brock Lesnar. He wants to fight him. He wants to earn it. Because he even told Brock, "You ain't no real cowboy. I've been around real cowboys, son." So holding him back, and I gotta say, I thought of this theory. Well, not this theory, but the storyline wise. If Cody loses to Brock, it doesn't hurt Cody, but we could do the whole hard time storyline and I was like, would they go that route though? It seems too predictable to go that route, to have Cody have one of the worst summers ever. They did that with John too. Like after he lost to The Rock at WrestleMania, and then he had a horrible year. Then he won at the next year's WrestleMania. So, how do I feel about Cody Rhodes doing the hard time storyline, getting beat down all summer long? It's a cool idea, but it's not an original one. I know. You're probably saying like, "Hey, big head boy, it's professional wrestling. Things are reused over and over again, and this is suitable for Cody Rhodes because his dad, baby, went through hard times, baby. Hard times, I get it. But I don't know. I think if we have Cody win and beat Brock, it sets him as an ultimate, like, he's leveling up. He's getting back into the picture of possibly facing Roman Reigns again and beating Roman and knocking him down off that pedestal after the 1,000 days is up. And I feel that's at SummerSlam, but I just don't know because Cody is now on Raw and Roman is now on SmackDown. And, we got this whole heavyweight championship now in the mix as well. So, and I said it last week, if Cody wins this title, I would be happy. But also, too, you have such a great opportunity to have this story really close out. And he finishes the story. He has to go through all these bosses to get back to the top, then dethrone Roman Reigns. Or they will go the route of, at Night of Champions, he wins the heavyweight championship and then possibly set up another feud with Seth freaking Rollins, or Seth wins and then a feud goes on from there with him and Cody. It's all on the table of what's going to happen at Backlash. Does Cody beat Brock? Will Brock feel the nightmare at Backlash? It's a lot of what ifs and and uhs. So, but we go into round 3 again. Here's the next 4 picks. Raw got Liv and Raquel, and that's why I said, with Damage Control winning, and then they're going to, I think it's in this pick, right? No, I think it was the next one, because SmackDown got Asuka. Cool. What are you going to do with Asuka? I still feel she should have beat Bianca Belair at WrestleMania. Because once again, we transformed Asuka into something so fucking awesome, and so menacing in like a storyline that just didn't click, and then you have her lose. Now it's back to the back of the line, back to obscurity, and Asuka deserves more than that. Just saying. Raw got the New Day, and I was wondering, I was like, man, where's Big E? I've seen Big E out there. He's been on up, down, and stuff like that. So, yeah. And then SmackDown got the Brawling Brutes. I just like the fact, too, we're not splitting no teams. That's, I used to love when they split teams up because it was like, oh, my God, they're really shaking things up. I personally thought, they were going to split the Usos or even just take the Usos away from SmackDown. Then, then it all boils that down to this week and everything like that. And Solo, they beat down the Usos and send them packing to Raw. No longer part of the bloodline, but no. So, as much as this draft was fun, it's also frustrating when you think of the storylines going forward. We had Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Riddle backstage. My favorite part about this was Riddle's like, yo, bro, since we're all on Raw, bro, we're going to hang out all the time. And Kevin was like, no, I don't want to hang out all the time. No, I don't want to do that. But we have a Riddle's match versus Jimmy Uso. He's with Jay. And they pulled an Eddie. They pulled an Eddie tactic. I loved it just to get Jay kicked out. I laughed so freaking hard just because I thought this was great. There's a spot where Kevin's yelling at Jay, and they're yelling back and forth, and then Kevin just falls back, and Sammy grabs a chair and hits the chair on the table, and Jay's like, "What the fuck's going on?" And Sammy throws the chair over to to Jay, and Jay's like, "What?" And then the ref, and he's like, "Ref, look what he hit him." Then he got kicked out. I was just like, man, in my heart, I was like, "Viva la raza, ese vatos locos." I was like, oh, Uncle Eddie, you are always here in spirit. You are always here in spirit, man. It made me feel good right there. But we had an interesting thing. We had an Io Sky package, which is really cool. We had Solo backstage. This was interesting after the match and everything like that. Solo's backstage. Heyman's talking to him. Jay's like, yo, where was he at? And Heyman, being the puppet master, he's like, yeah, the tribal chief wants him to think on his task here, blah, 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 blah. This is where it's going to go. So I'm wondering if the storyline next for the bloodline is a beatdown to the Usos, setting up a tag team match of Roman Reigns and Solo versus the Usos, who gets the bloodline type thing. Who's going to run the family? Who's going to run the table? Who's going to be the head of the table, the Usos or Roman? So I feel that's coming up. Like when Roman comes back, finally we're going to have the boiling water over the pot, everything like that, kind of come down to the Usos being kicked out of the bloodline and Roman looking at Solo. Then hopefully down the road, Solo finally gets it together and he turns on Roman, because Solo's being built like a champ, a street champ, if you will. Eric Bischoff was here tonight looking great with RVD and going into round 4 of the draft. I gotta say real quick before I talk about these picks, I heard what Eric Bischoff had to say about CM Punk. He is not a fan of Mr. CM Punk. He says what happened at that media scrum after the big event with the Bucks, the big fight backstage and everything that Punk said, what he did to Tony Khan, that's what really just sent him like, yo, fuck him. He was like, he can't even carry Hulk Hogan's boots. Eric has stuff to say all the time. It's no lie that he says a lot of shit about AEW and Tony Khan and stuff like that. And it comes down to where there's some things that are valid. There's some things that are valid that Eric says. But also, too, I feel, he probably is a tad bit jealous because we got a rival company over here on the same channels that WCW were on, and they're thriving for now. Yes, it's only been 5 years. Don't get me wrong. But these guys now got a reality. They had a couple reality shows, but the main one, Access and this and that. And they got a third show coming that everybody's like freaking out about because they're like, oh my God, there's going to be 3 AEW shows? And I'm like, why not? You know, WWE has a bunch of shows. They got NXT. They got NXT Level Up. I found out today because they still got a main event or whatever. Saturday from Wednesday night main event or something like that. They still got that going on. You know, I really thought that show was done for a bit. But who was it? Cora Jade promoted a match on her Twitter, and I was like, oh, you know, I was like, wait a minute, hold on, main event. You know, the hashtag and all, everything like that. And so I looked at it and I was like, oh, okay, main event's still a thing. So why can't AEW have a bunch of shows as well? I know they got AEW Dark Elevation, which I feel is silly. It should just be AEW Dark, you know, in general. There's no elevation, just dark. Then you could do Collision and, you know, Rampage and whatnot. Or why don't you just finally pull the trigger and make Rampage a 2-hour show? But into that, they want Punk to be over here to represent this show. Like, they basically created a whole show just so it could be Punk who's headlining it and possible feud with Chris Jericho, because apparently they met, and I kind of lost my fucking train of thought of where I was going with this. Oh, Eric, saying what he said about Punk. You know, I have to give it, I was talking to Pinta the other day about this, and hearing that Punk showing up backstage on Impact, he's showing backstage on Monday Night Raw, going around kind of like in an apology tour sort of thing, you know, not a hardcore apology tour, but he's going around making amends. You know, he wouldn't talk to the Miz and stuff like that. I have to give it up to somebody who's willing to say, hey, I fucked up. I was wrong. I was an arrogant asshole, and I'm sorry. So I have to give it up to Punk on that level of at least, you know, trying to make amends. You know, the fact that he met up with Chris Jericho, because I know him and Chris Jericho had a little bit of heat and stuff like that. Like, I think Punk's coming to the realization, like, yo, I just need to sometimes shut the fuck up and do what I need to do. Not shut his personality down completely, but at least getting good with himself to work with everybody. Because we all know, we all want to see CM Punk. That's a big freaking name, especially if you're going to do All In at Wembley Stadium. And what Eric Bischoff said is what a lot of people have said too. I said it on my pod. I did the podcast episode on CM Punk. Like, how fucking dare you? You know, you know this and that. But I'm looking at it all now, and I'm like, yo, at least he's trying to make some amends to everybody. At least he's trying, and you know, everyone deserves another chance. So that's what I gotta say. I'm sorry I went off on a rant. It was just funny with Eric Bischoff being here tonight, especially after all that. But we got Shayna Baszler for Raw and Ronda Rousey for Raw. You know, this tag team. Oh, I skipped over one. My bad. Trish Stratus is going to be on Raw. SmackDown, Karrion Kross. And like I said, Trish Stratus on Raw was one of those things like, yeah, because she still has the feud with Becky. So, Karrion Kross going to SmackDown, completely killing, even though they have a match this Friday, completely stopping this Karrion Kross and Shinsuke Nakamura storyline in the dirt. Because I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. But nope, they're, boom, going opposite ways. SmackDown keeps LA Knight. I really wanted to see LA go to Raw. I really did. But maybe I was seeing somebody like maybe he's the one that's going to take on Austin Theory and take away that United States Championship. And I'm thinking about it of LA Knight as a champion. Oh, that's sexy. We got a Miz TV and his guest. Here we go. All right. Shinsuke Nakamura. Oh, that hurt. But I got it. But this was fun because Shinsuke got Miz to say something in Japanese, and and it meant tiny balls. And Miz, of course, cannot get away from the tiny balls. He tried to attack Shinsuke, but Shinsuke didn't have it, and it was like, you know. So we got Oma. I'm sorry, I'm such a fat fuck. I took so much wind out of me on that one. I was like, whoo, hold on, give me a can of Coke. Give me a can of corn, coach. Don't put me in. All right. Ooh, God. Ooh. All right. Omos is with MVP and the walking to the ring looking crazy. Like the way the camera was on him from that up angle. I'm like, man, this dude's a beast. Goes against this poor bastard named Anthony Alanis. Yeah, Omos for the win. Poor Anthony thought he could take on the Nigerian giant. Like nope. Poor bastard. Didn't have a chance. Molly Holly and Road Dogg for the next round here. So we got, was this round 5? Yeah, round 5. Raw got Ricochet and Braun Strowman. SmackDown got Shotzi. We need to do something with Shotzi. Like, as cool as Shotzi going to SmackDown is, I'm like, can we do more with her? Please. Raw got Bronson Reed. So once again, the reason why, okay, let me do that next one. But no, the last pick for SmackDown is pretty good. Bronson Reed now being picked to go to Raw, and Austin Theory going the other way, the SmackDown. Am I right about that though? Doesn't that affect the storyline there a little bit of what you're trying to build towards that match with that triple threat? But, because we are in the day of age, like, yes, anything can happen. Anything can happen. But Gunther doesn't have that Intercontinental Championship on the line at Backlash. As of right now, as of I speak, I could be putting my foot in my mouth. So there's no way they're going to have the United States Championship and the Intercontinental Championship on Raw. They were split for a reason, so each brand can have their champions. And they tried to build that United States Championship to be the big one. But they've kind of gone nowhere with it. Even though they've been trying with Austin Theory, he beat John Cena. Yeah, no. But him going over and getting beat by an LA Knight could be a different story. And we can kind of go back to the drawing boards with Austin Theory. So that kind of eliminates Bronson Reed even winning that championship. Unless he does win and then he goes to SmackDown automatically. Am I overthinking this? Am I? God, I don't know. But SmackDown got pretty deadly. I was like, hot damn. Pretty Deadly is an awesome tag team, and I had a feeling they were going to be part of this draft just because of the big match they had against the family last week at Spring Breakin' and losing. And when they showed him at the PC, I kind of laughed. I was like, aren't you guys supposed to be dead or in the water sleeping with the fishes? Because you're right there and you're hugging everybody. But kayfabe. All right. We got a promo from the Judgment Day, and they took on the LWO. The Judgment Day for the win. Send LWO packing the SmackDown. And the best part about this whole thing to the match and everything like that, this was a great fun match. Everything was that crowd would not let Dominic speak. They were not giving him a chance at all. And as much as everyone's like, oh man, that's so disrespectful. That's not disrespectful. That kid's got heat. Real heat. And it's awesome. Like, he doesn't have to say anything. You get a reaction, that's all you need. And the fact that he's the biggest heel right now, and the fact that crowd did not let him speak says something. And I think we're going to see a lot more from Dominic going forward. Man, shout out to Dominic, man. Cody Rhodes backstage, asking him about Brock Lesnar, and he's like, yeah, he even says, I got to beat Brock Lesnar. Because basically, I lost, and this and that. And if I want to finish the story, I have to beat Brock. Because if not, basically, what am I? What am I even doing here? Cody Rhodes. That's why that hard time storyline is one of those things like, we could go that route. Do we need to go that route? Or should we just have Cody level up and finally get his opportunity again and prove himself to be the man, the face of WWE? Next, final round, JBL, Teddy Long coming out. And I love these two. They have such great, such a bond between each other. It made me laugh. Just because, not made me laugh, it made me smile, made me laugh. And I was just like, oh. But Raw kept the Alpha Academy. So I'm like, okay, I'm happy they're not splitting them up. Because I did not want poor Chad to be left in the dust. And then Otis going on with Maxine. They haven't really been doing anything with the Maximum Male Models or whatever. So, they've been around, but they've done nothing with them. They had a really awesome, fun match with Alpha Academy and the Maximum Male Models in Paris. And they got some baguettes and they took out the models, which was funny. If you could check out that video from Paris, it's really awesome because they're using those baguettes. And then after they beat them down with that Otis... the Meat Mountain. I hope this is a shirt. SmackDown got Rick Boogs. And hopefully they do something with him. Raw got two Kadeen and let me see what I got here. Katana from NXT. And what's weird about this, once again, with the draft being this week, Dawn and Fire, they Fire and Dawn, not Fire and Dawn. What am I thinking? Oh, yeah, well, they got a big tag team match tomorrow on NXT, and both these teams are now going to the main roster. Yeah. And then they show them at the PC Center, get face to face. And I'm sorry, I messed up some names right then and there. My brain got so scattered just thinking about this and getting frustrated about. You have a draft this week, and once again, story-wise, you have these two teams who are going to compete for the NXT Tag Team Championships, and it won't, even if they lose them, there's still going to be a way to relinquish them because they're not bringing the NXT Championships to the main roster. They've already proven that point when I said it last week when Solo took the championship. He won the championship. He beat Carmelo? I can't remember at this point because I'm so goddamn frustrated. Now, yeah, they stripped him of that title because Solo went to the main roster, and they're like, nah, the North American Championship stays down here. So now, tomorrow, we got this tag. So you're going to probably hear it all tomorrow on this when I talk about NXT. Okay? All right. Calm down. Calm down. But SmackDown got a really fun one here. I was like, Cameron Grimes. Hell yeah. To the moon. Who knows how Cameron's going to fit into the SmackDown locker room? We shall see. And hopefully they do him good. Because I like me some Cameron Grimes, man. I do. Bianca Belair backstage doing an interview. Damage Control interrupts. And it basically comes face-to-face between Io and Bianca. And seeing those two face-to-face, I was like, it's going to be a damn good match. I just feel it. I just feel it deep down in my bones, man. And all the way down to Damian Priest and Bad Bunny in a San Juan street fight. It's going to be awesome, And that's the thing is, people probably thinking, oh, man, you're already hating on the card. I'm not hating on the card. There's no way I'm hating on this card. Cody Rhodes versus Brock Lesnar is going to be huge. And it's going to be physical. It's going to be intense. It's going to be uncomfortable of whatever Brock is going to do. So the card looks awesome. I'm excited for... Solo and the Usos versus Kevin Owens, Sammy, and Riddle. I'm excited for all of it. And New Day cut a promo, and And I'm like, where's Big E? Bring me back Big E. But now the main event. Here we are. It's a lot to go through, folks. A very jam-packed night. And what's funny is so jam-packed in 3 hours. Like, my notes almost went 2 pages just because of how much stuff was going on this show. And granted, yes, it's a 3-hour show, but like I feel SmackDown was a lot easier to drink than this show was. But we had Solo versus Seth Rollins in the main event, and once again, there's this thing that they do that drives me absolutely batshit crazy is the time for the main event. How much time the main event actually gets. And all the goddamn commercial breaks that happen during the main event. I hope I'm not the only one that gets kind of pissed off about that, because I was like, Solo and Seth, that sounds awesome. But of course, here comes the Usos, and here comes Sammy, here comes Kevin. And once again, in such a small window, they were cut off. Corey Graves was cut off before he could finish his sentence because they ran out of time, and we had to go to Alaska to see these people try to survive. Alaska. I don't fucking care about Alaska. I want the main event. I want the main event. But those goddamn commercials, man, they shortened that shit up. Like, I was looking like, by the time we were going to have Solo and Seth finally lock it up, I think there was 8 minutes left in the show. And then at a certain point, I think at the 4-minute mark, they cut to a goddamn commercial. Then, like I said, right at the end, when everyone came out, it was chaos. Everyone was fighting. Corey was talking, and that was it. To Alaska we go. God damn it. But I did have fun, as frustrating as some things were in my wrestling brain. I give this show a solid 3.5 out of 5 because there's so much going on, and also the frustration of this draft should have happened the week after. Like, at least, like, after, right after. Like, make it that Monday, make it that SmackDown after a pay-per-view. Because now I'm looking at that card, and I'm just like, ugh. So I can't wait to do the breakdown of the card and my picks and predictions and see where we go from there. But tell me what you thought of the show. Drop those comments below. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you feel SmackDown was a bit smoother? I feel SmackDown was smoother than Raw with this night's draft and everything like that. But I still had fun. There was still some great stuff that I loved. Tiny Balls from Shinsuke was awesome, man. I always say the Ricochet, Braun Strowman versus Alpha Academy, that was fun. That was a good time right there. Liv and Raquel and Damage Control, they put on a good showing. I really love the Eddie spot, with Riddle and Jimmy Uso and stuff like that. So a lot of good stuff happened tonight, especially with Paul Heyman playing Puppet Master again and where we're going with that. I think it's more or less the draft picks itself and how it affects everything going into a pay-per-view. Plus this being a draft, especially this being a going home show for into a pay-per-view, and very little Cody. I wanted more, but I understood what they were trying to do. So I give it 3.5 out of 5. Tell me what you thought of the show. I can't wait for Backlash. I love the fact that Damian Priest got to cut a promo in his language. That was awesome. That was spectacular. I was just like, showcasing that and all the Hispanic boys and girls out there. Everyone, him speaking Spanish and everything like that. Like, I was just like, damn, that's dope. That's just awesome, man. So, and yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Oh, and just as an announcement, I'm waiting. It's officially approved. I just got the designs uploaded, but my Pro Wrestling Tees store is almost official. I'm just waiting back to hear from Pro Wrestling Tees, and then once that's going, that's where the merch is going to be. But if you want to go support, you can go to our T Public store for now and cop those logos and designs. The nWp logo created by Penta X, the True Sexy Ninja mascot created by Katie. If you want to go grab those and many other designs we have as of right now, if you want to support there, or if you want to wait until we hit the Pro Wrestling Tees store with some awesome logos and whatnot, you can wait for that. But it's coming, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming. I said coming. Cochino. All right. After that, like and subscribe. Share with your grandma. Share with your grandpa. Share with the bum down at Walmart. I am KMB, the Sexy Ninja, and as always, the New World Podcast is for life, brother.
Rhodes from behind just dropped the beast. The American Nightmare just knocked down the beast incarnate.